Yo, what's good, guys? Back at it again with another tier list. It's been a while, and it's been a long while since I've done one like this, where it is positional rankings, looking at the best cards in a position. You know, if they're on the list, they're not a bad option. If I missed your favorite player, uh, maybe I forgot them, or maybe I just don't think they cracked the top tier. But here we are, right? These are who I believe pretty much make up the best outfielders in the game, and let's get right into it. So Judge, new Lightning card. I think he's really good. I think his swing's way better than it has been previous years. I think it's like if you mix Mike Trout with like Tatis, so slightly worse Mike Trout swing, closer to Trout than Tatis. Um, Dunn, right? Dunn is B tier. Not a great legend player, decent Hall of Fame player, really good All Star player. Um, has more value at DH. You will see that kind of as a theme throughout this list that there are certain players who are better at DH, and I will rank them accordingly as if they were a DH, not necessarily an outfielder. Soriano, new BR card, really great defense, not a great swing, but attributes play, really well balanced. Kind of that all around utility guy. Definitely has more value at second base, but is not a bad outfield option. I think probably A tier, probably reserve S for like the big dogs, the top of the top, the 5 to 7 best outfielders in the game. Don't think Soriano cracks that, but he is pretty solid. Dre, very close to Soriano. Good attributes. Usually a pretty bad swing. Decently well statted. I believe his clutch is pretty bad, if I'm remembering right. So Dre, top of A tier, solid option. You know, we'll see going into next season. Obviously, set one's coming close to ending. Um, Outfield's pretty thin through set two so far. It's going to be hard to replace guys like Trout and Griffey. So a lot of new options will come up, but hopefully we get some more outfielders in the coming weeks. Babe, still top tier. Has more value at first base or DH. But if you have him P5, he's I think got a gold shield out there with decent reactions. Still one of the best options, at least until he expires. Rooker, good All Star Demon card. If you are somebody that plays on All Star constantly, he's phenomenal, right? Clutch doesn't really matter on All Star. He's got a ton of pop and doesn't play the outfield great, but he is a decent DH. I've heard he's got a pretty good swing. I don't really remember it from the time I used him, but card looks really solid. Harper, great option. I'm thinking top of A tier, could move him up. Obviously, everybody loves Harper swing. He has a lot of quirks. Really solid option. I just think there's other options that are better or equivalent to Harper to where he doesn't stand out too much. But when he came out, he was phenomenal. Minoso, probably top of B tier. Not a very good 99 overall card. Lacks power. He's basically Rod Carew in the outfield. Not what you want to see out of a BR flawless reward. Eddie Matthews, definitely outdated at this point. You can make the argument as a DH, he's probably more so here or even bottom of A tier. As a true outfielder, he's probably D. The defense is really bad. The swing's decent. I'm not going to sit here and gas it, but it is a decent swing, and he's got okay attributes. Eloy, if you're still using Eloy and you do great with him, then phenomenal. Has much more value as a DH than a outfielder. But his time is coming, and I do think he's starting to fall off. Eric Davis, I do like this new Eric Davis card. A lot of people absolutely love the one from the start of the year. This one's no different, except way better attributes, and this one's actually fast and plays a decent outfield. So he is phenomenal. Tatis, absolute top of A tier. If his swing was just any better whatsoever, he would easily top S tier. If his swing was any better, if he had any quirks whatsoever, really all that holds this card back. That and the arm accuracy, it can put you in some weird spots with the throw meter, but it's not that big of a deal. Grady, probably about here, I'd probably rather have everybody in front of him over him, but he is still a very solid card. He's definitely not bad. Hank Aaron, definitely S tier. If I had to rank these, that would probably be it right there. Really solid. He is my last pick for the collection, but he is still a great card and probably a top 6 card in the game. Absolutely phenomenal. Jazz is still solid. Obviously, the hitting stats have kind of fallen off a cliff from where he was the first week. But if you do still run the cover athlete boost, he is still very solid. If you put some parallels on him, he still does play a phenomenal outfield. It's just he's going to struggle against lefties, and we are in the season of Randy Johnson. So, yeah, I see him struggling. Jim Edmonds, a lot of the same stuff. Very slept on card. Not a lot of people run him. He's kind of a slow outfield option. Great reactions. Plays a decent outfield. Has a lot of pop. The swing isn't what I was hoping it would be, but he is still a good option. I imagine he's relatively cheap, although his time is coming. Jock Peterson, much the same as Eloy. I did never did good with this card whatsoever. He never hit good against me whatsoever. But a lot of people swear by him, and he is still a great option at DH. Do not play him in the outfield, but at DH he is a good option. Has max clutch, has a decent enough swing. Julio, if you run the Ripken boost and you have it max tier, he definitely has an argument for S. I think he's probably top of A tier. I'd probably take him over most of these guys. It's probably what A tier looks like for me. Griffey, S tier without a doubt. I would take him over Hank. Griffey has been probably my best hitter in my lineup all year. He's batting like 540 with a ton of home runs. He is absolutely phenomenal. It feels like it does not matter if he's batting lefty or not. If you're on the cover athlete boost, he's basically max against lefties. The card is absolutely wonderful. It's going to be a real shame that he's going up soon. Hopefully, we can get a new 99 Griffey sometime in the future. It probably won't be super soon, but hopefully we can get one somewhat soon. Cattell is still a really good option. I'd probably put him about right there. He's running out of time. He was a day one card, and he's been very, very solid since day one. Plays a decent outfield, isn't that fast, doesn't have a great reaction. I don't think he's able to get Gold Shield in the outfield. I played him at second most of the time. I'd argue that's where he has more value. But having a switch hitter with really good contact and decent enough speed, he's basically Francisco Lindor that can play the outfield, and that makes him great. Chris Bryant, solid option. I don't see anybody running him. Decent swing. You might get jammed righty with him a lot. Pretty good attributes. Doesn't field particularly well. Not a card I would run in the outfield, but if you do like him, he is solid enough to where I think he has an argument to be good. Kyle Tucker is probably, I think he's right with Harper. Clutch is definitely lower. If you run the Ripken boost with Tucker, you could argue he's better than Harper. Very similar cards. And here's another similar card. These are all the same player with different names and different player models. Same archetype. Pretty good contact, decent power, left-handed bats. That these two play the field extremely well. Harper can if you have a lot of people that get the cover athlete boost. If not, he's going to be a little bit of a liability out there. But these other two field pretty well. And Kyle Tucker can get the Ripken boost. Robert, good budget option. Probably bottom of B tier. I don't like his swing that much this year. Feels pretty delayed. Kind of like old Aaron Judge swing from like previous years. But I think he is solid. Not very fast, but does field the outfield better than most of these guys. And he has some value there. Yoshida, I was very underwhelmed with this card. Obviously, his swing is phenomenal, but the stats aren't too great, and he doesn't have any quirks. So for that reason, I think him and Grady are honestly pretty comparable. Um, Basically the same card. Matt Holliday, new event reward. I looked him over. I haven't used him. His stats look solid. He's much better off as a DH, so I think I'm gonna ding him for that. As a true outfielder, I don't think he would be that good. But as a DH, he has some value. Um, as a DH, he's probably comparable to like Soriano and Eric Davis, and I think that's about it from A tier. I probably would not use him that much. Brantley, a lot of people swear by this Brantley card. I think he's like a slower version of Grady and Yoshida. Probably hits a little better than them. True value is probably a DH, although he is passable in the outfield, more so than like Adam Dunn and Ed Matthews. Mickey, right? The best card in the game. He's got that argument with Chipper, and Randy, I guess, but mainly Chipper. Hits close to the same as Chipper, but plays way better defense, plays an absolutely premium center field, gets the balls that nobody else can get to in center field. You can argue Griffey might get to him, but he's slower, has slightly better reaction, but doesn't really matter. Mickey covers the most ground that any center fielder. If Mickey can't get to it, nobody can get to it, and he brings a lot of value with that. And I would expect him to be people's wild cards in the future. Well worth the 400K, although there are other options. But I believe Mickey is still the best card in the game at the moment. Trout. So Trout is still really solid. I think I'm gonna rank them as true outfielders, and not necessarily DH. Babe's defense is really bad, and honestly, he doesn't hit that great for me. He is still solid in the lineup, but he is not that great. These three are some of my best hitters in my lineup, and definitely my picks for the three best outfielders in the game right now. Hank will take Trout's spot when the season ends, but until that point in time, I think Trout has my left field spot for sure. But you can't really go wrong with any of these guys. Castellanos, good budget option. Again, passable in the field. Not absolutely terrible. Has a decent swing. Um, what can you say? It's a budget option. I do think he's comparable to most of these guys. With the exception of Matt Holliday, I'd probably move Holliday up. Don't really feel like he belongs with these guys as much. Jordan, as a DH, arguably S tier. As an outfielder, A, possibly even B. He's really bad on defense. He's going to cost you runs if you play him out in the outfield. DH is definitely the spot for Jordan. That being said, his swing is phenomenal. It is every year. He has a bunch of quirks on this card. Absolutely phenomenal. I've heard a couple people say he's their best hitter by far this year, and I believe it. Jordan cards are typically pretty good. Willie would probably be bottom of A tier. I'll probably leave him there for you guys that play on Hall of Fame and All Star, but he's almost unusable on Legend. He's not as fast as I was hoping they would make a 99 Willie Mays. Doesn't have quite the reactions as a 99 Willie Mays, I believe, if I remember right. And his clutch is absolutely abysmal. I heard he has a decent swing, but overall, I don't really see it with Willie. I think I'd rather have almost everybody up here over him, other than maybe Jazz, and that's just because Jazz just cannot hit lefties. And then Vlad. Kind of have to give him the Jordan treatment. I think as a DH, he has an argument for the best in the game, especially if you run the cover athlete boost. He's maxed against lefties all the time. He does not need a runner in scoring position to use his max clutch. He's just maxed by default. I think these are arguably your best two DH options in the game are Vlad and Jordan, and somebody that is not on the list, Stan the Man. I think he's another great DH option. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these, right? I think the four best DHs in the game are probably Vlad. I'll make it five. Vlad, Babe, Stan, Jordan, and David Ortiz. Not necessarily in that order. If you need a righty, I think Vlad's your guy. You can't really go wrong with any of the lefties either. That is my complete outfield ranking for the show as of 6/19. Um, I expect to see maybe another top tier outfielder or so, hopefully soon before the next season. I'm sure they'll do it. I don't know why they dropped Griffey like a couple days before this season started. That really sucked and shortened his life by a lot. Hopefully they don't do something like that again, because this is probably one of my favorite cards I've used all year. It's a shame he's about to go away. But that is what the list is looking like for me. I picked out anybody I thought could be in the lineup. If you see any of these guys in somebody's lineup, they're not bad. They are solid players. And yeah, guys, so that is it. That is my tier ranking for outfielders. If you found this helpful at all, feel free to like and subscribe. We're on the path to 1,500 subs, and I'd appreciate it. Peace.